Welcome back. Outrage over American CEOs cozying up to China. Presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy taking aim at Elon Musk for getting wined and dined by Chinese officials, tweeting this in part. It's deeply concerning that Elon Musk met with China's foreign minister and referred to the U.S. and China as conjoined twins. Now, this all comes as NVIDIA's CEO plans to meet with Chinese executives this month as well, despite some of these rising tensions. Indiana Senator Mike Braun joins us now to discuss it. Senator, it's great to have you on. Thanks so much for being here. You have been critical of China in many respects, including the fact that they're buying up U.S. farmland. I guess my question to you really centers around what message you have for the CEOs that are going to do business in China, because what they would say is China provides the right environment for us to be profitable, and that's our main concern. Having said that, it doesn't necessarily put America's interests first.
I was a CEO for 37 years, and by the way, that should be the requirement to at least run something before you become a senator. But in our business, it was clear that China was not a handshake business partner. We know what they've done in the past: manipulate their currency, steal intellectual property, transfer it once you get there in ways that you can't do anything about it. Some might want to continue that conjoined relationship. I think most CEOs are trying to see how they can get their supply chain out of there as quickly as possible. That would be in their own interest. It would be in our own country's best interest. Find a business partner that you don't have to watch every move they make, and they're telling you what they intend to do in the long run. That shouldn't take much to understand what the relationship should be about.
Senator, of course, then using your huge, deep business experience, we feel like you're the right person to ask this question to. You have Elon Musk, for example, with Tesla, where pretty much his only duty is a fiduciary duty, and that's to shareholders. Many people could argue that China is going to be the golden goose for EVs and for the future of that company on a profitability basis. Why aren't we then doing more to keep him here? Because frankly, he has a duty to go where he can make money and to explore those relationships. What can we do to keep him here?
And I like free trade as long as it's fair. That's called comparative advantage. What yours is, you trade with others. But it's got to be free and fair. So guys like Elon and other companies that really gambled a lot due to having that cost advantage, they're now in a pickle, because what happens if they would attack Taiwan, for instance? They're shaking hands with Putin, as a world partner. That to me looks very risky. And then sadly, many of those CEOs ask the government to bail them out once they're in too deep. I think he has been caught in a catch-22. He went there before all this was apparent. It's hard to get away from it when you're that dependent on it. And sadly, this should be all part of free trade, but it needs to be fair, and he's caught in a pickle.
Senator, you've run a company. You have had to live in reality. You know how hard it is to get things done. It's not just an ideological world. It's a world of relationships and trade. Decoupling is maybe the story of the next decade, whether or not it's possible. As somebody who knows how to get things done, what should Americans look for in terms of the opportunities? Look, if it's not total decoupling, partial or de-risking, whatever you want to call it, how does that play out? How does it get done, actually?
So most are not going to have vested interests like a Tesla would. And any astute CEO was starting to do this 6 to 7 years ago. So much is out of the bag currently that I'd wonder how good a CEO you are if it's taken you until now. Generally, the ones still stuck are the ones that took too big a risk, didn't see quite far enough ahead, and in something like one of the largest companies in the world, Elon Musk has got a really tricky situation. Why don't you try trading in your own hemisphere? Why don't you do it with people that you can do a handshake deal with, that you maybe trust somewhat inherently, not in the places that allured you due to the savings and are going to somehow make that relationship go sour. There's plenty of time for most businesses. A few are so deep, it's going to be difficult for them to decouple.
And they're over in China right now trying to figure out what to do next. We'll follow it. We got to leave it there. Thank you, Senator Braun. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.